Hello my friends and viewers, today I'm going to review a very specific machine called in the game Turm III, which is actually a shorthand for the German Erprobungstrager mit Dreiachs stabilisiertem Turm, which means experimental vehicle with the turret which stabilizes in 3 dimensions. At first glance it looks like the turret found on French tanks, but it actually not. This turret has as the name suggests, a stabilizer, and it stabilizes the cannon both in the vertical and for a bit in horizontal axis. So it is this tank was first developed as one of the tanks supposed to become the first German main battle tank, but had lost its competition to the first Leopard 1. The vehicle, just like Leopard 1, Turm III is very lightly armored and has a decent speed, around 45 kilometers. Its main armament is comprised of the L7 cannon, modified with an autoloader which can fit the entire ammunition store of the tank. Because of this, it lacks the fourth crew member and has a bit higher fire rate than the first Leopard. The secondary armament of this tank is comprised of a 30mm cannon similar to the one found on Falcon, on the British Falcon self-propelled anti-air gun. However, unlike Falcon's gun, its belt is limited to 50 rounds. The max ammunition for your automatic cannon is 300 rounds, which means you have 6 boxes with 50 rounds each. This cannon is pretty useful for taking out lightly armored vehicles such as infantry fighting vehicles and also enemy self-propelled anti-air guns. The main gun shoots the standard German 105mm heat shells, and can also fire sub-caliber armor-piercing rounds with discardable sabot. Basically, on its BR you don't need needle shots, and this tank doesn't have them, even though theoretically it has its cannon has the same barrel as the cannon of the Leopard 1, and you can theoretically shoot needle shots through this cannon, but because of in-game balance, the developers decided to limit its this tank's shell nomenclature to heat shells, armor-piercing shell with discardable sabot, and high explosive shell. The main shell to be used is heat shell. Thankfully, most of the tanks you encounter on 8.0 and 8.3 BR don't have ERA, So that means your hit shells will be pretty effective against tanks. That being said, you need to be very careful on Turm 3 because this tank is very lightly armored, and any enemy shot can be fatal for you. The 30mm autocannon is used on this tank uses armor-piercing high explosive shells, which makes it pretty unique. These shells have a pretty mediocre penetration of around 50mm. However, they explode inside their targets, and since the gun is automatic, it's very powerful and effective against lightly armored targets such as self-propelled anti-air artillery and infantry fighting vehicles, as I had mentioned previously. Thank you for watching. Slava Ukraini, and please support Ukraine in struggle against Russian invasion. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Hello from Ukraine.